seat.
Cold. Right.
Heat or cold seat.
And that's exactly how I have this guy set up. It's set up to basically measure cold spots. So again, you guys should be able to see me in there. I'm orange, red, and yellow. My nose might be a little bit blue. I don't know, my skeleton tonight. On the colder nights, my nose is always solid blue. But we're literally looking for those blue and black spots to move on their own. So that's really what we're looking for. Even with a smaller group like this, Kelsey, you're going to try to keep somebody in view at all times, because that orange, red, and yellow will go somewhere else. The reason why is our skin temperature is the warmest thing in here. I want the array of color. We're going to be a good 30 to 35 degrees warmer than most things outside today. Well, actually, probably closer to 45 degrees difference. But I want that array of color because it's much easier to find something when it's moving on its own. Does this capture something every night? It doesn't. However, if we're not recording, we won't capture. So again, it's just a matter of keeping this thing running. But we are going to do some starts and stops. When I say let's kind of give it a break, you're going to hit the orange square there on the left-hand side. There's also a blue dot that you'll see on your video. The blue dot is giving you the coldest spot in the frame at that moment. So a lot of times when I'm spot checking the video, I'm just looking at the blue dot. How far of a difference is it from the center crosshairs, which should be somewhat of an ambient temperature. So again, it's only going to measure like surfaces if you have the sky in view. By the way, go ahead and get your hands on that guy.
And you said leave it on somebody, or just
you're going to try to. It's going to be nearly impossible to keep somebody in view at all times. But at the same token, with the sky, that's another piece that I warn people about, is because the sky isn't solid, so it doesn't know what to measure. That blue dot will automatically go to the sky. So again, if we can keep the sky out of range, great. If not, not a big deal. I'll still be able to see blue and black spots moving around on the screen. You also have a cheat sheet on your screen that we won't see in the video. There's a bar on the right hand side that gives you the highest and the lowest temperature at any given time based on what color things are. So you can use that if you want to in real time. We just won't be able to watch it tomorrow after I upload everything. It just doesn't stay on there. Last thing on there, last bit of instruction, is the camera right now is on your left. Even when I tell you to stop it and we're going to restart it again, make sure the camera stays on your left. Otherwise, the video will be upside down for that portion. It goes to YouTube first, and then I send it back to my website. YouTube doesn't know the flippies. All it knows is the orientation that it was recorded in. Okay. So, again, just try to keep the video camera to the left.
Yes. And I'm sure this is a dot he's talking about moving around.
Yep.
When you move it. So it looks like a bird flying around.
Right, yeah.
So spirit boxes, you're actually going to be using two different types tonight. Go ahead and take a set of earbuds out of there. I buy them in bulk. I don't want them back. Earwax is gross. So, what kind of spare box do you have?
I got a Husky set.
Okay. So I use one of those, but it doesn't record anything. This guy,
the S-Box.
Love this thing.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
This is probably one of my favorites.
I'll say we watch Patty Adams and the G Team and stuff on occasions, and we'll watch Omar and things like that. One time.
Sure.
But we know that there are the way he's sounding right now, he knows exactly what I'm talking about. But yeah, so I mean, there are a lot of it we know is entertainment and things, but there's a lot of things that are very, very interesting and seem pretty real. And I noticed that they've had a little falling out, or supposed falling out here lately, and then they were kind of telling on each other and stuff. So. Yeah, there was a lot of things.
That's usually what happens when a group splits up, especially the TV shows. I mean, look what happened between Nick and Zach. I mean, Nick just blew everything up, and then Nick got right back into it. It's like, dude, how are we supposed to believe you now?
Right. So, these are YouTubers that we're watching, but
yeah, we used to watch those matches a lot too.
Yeah.
What really kept us hanging on is Zach's his
charisma.
His charisma and the drama that come along with him. Yep. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
And old Aaron. He's a good cameraman, and he's funny on occasions when he want to give Zach a hard time. But, things
I watch, when I'm watching these shows now, because I'm in the field so much, obviously I see the mistakes that they make. I see that they don't dive into the history as much. But I look at things for technique. I look at things about which devices are they using. Is it stuff that they made? Is it, how legit is that science that they're using behind it? And then I start diving into the science behind it. Even as an English person, I still dive into the scientific piece. There's some legitimacy to some of the things they're doing. It's just a matter of, I feel like the evidence that they're providing is where the falsehoods come into play.
Right.
So you know that this is going to sweep through the FM radio stations. That's the way I have it set up, is for FM. It's mainly white noise. However, I have mine slowed down versus what you probably hear on television. do that on purpose. You have to remember, I get folks on this tour that have no idea what the TV shows are. They don't even know what a spirit box is.
Wow.
So with that, it happens. It's, especially in October, everybody wants to just do something spooky.
Right.
And now all of a sudden, I feel like I'm a school teacher because I got to tell everybody how to use a radio sweeper. But the reason why I haven't slowed down is because I want the song lyrics, DJs, and commercials to come through, little tiny bits. It's a 50-50 shot. I can tie it to a building where we're at, a person in history, or even something going on with one of us.
Right.
It's going to be specific terms, and we're going to talk more about how to use spirit boxes at our first stop. But again, the cool thing about this one is that it records. I don't know how much you know about this particular spirit box.
Well, I know of it, but I don't really know about it.
It's the best one out there. I don't care what anybody says. We're about to upgrade our SB7 to an SB11 ANC, so it's going to take out the white noise, and it's almost going to work like a portal. I don't know if you're familiar with a portal.
Yep.
So I've worked with those in the past with other teams, just to kind of get a gist of how they operate, and then I came across that ANC SB11, and it uses FM and AM simultaneously, and I'm like, that's gonna be, I can't wait to get my hands on it. But it's like $300. Right. So again, every piece that I upgrade is a savings. I got to build up for it. But anyway, back to this guy. So it's going to record the entire sweep. I already have it recording. Even when it's on mute, it doesn't matter. When you guys get your recording back tomorrow morning, it's going to be at a nice even level. So again, I'm going to go through it, spot check it. I listen to about a minute for every 5. So I'm going to give you about 15 to 20 markers of things I heard, whether they're relevant or not. The reason I do that is for folks like you that want to learn more about it, and I'm kind of giving you clues on like, hey, this is a little weird, or this is a weird phrase or an odd term. I may not know what it means at that specific moment, but if I can tie it to one of those 3 things, a person, a location, one of us, then I'll tell you why, and then I'll verify it with a link. So that way you guys can actually go back and verify what I found. So, and that'll help you kind of help find more things. Again, this isn't because I told you so, it's because the history's there.
Right.
So, the hole for your is right there, and then the volume is at the very top. It's a wheel, it's not the button, just so you know. You're actually going to be using 2 different spirit boxes tonight, because the other one doesn't make any noise. And I usually put these, and the hope is that these are going to work in tandem, so that you'll be able to get one phrase or a word out of one, and it matches up with something else going on with the other one. So this one's just like an ovulus, okay? So the ovulus has...
I'm sorry.
Oh, you're good. Just to make sure everything's okay.
This ain't, there it is. I was like, this ain't even my phone. This is my wife's. And I'm trying to put in my numbers. I have no idea why that was racist. Missed one. It's Rick.
Oh.
So, everything okay? Or they just calling the call?
Just calling to find out. We haven't been to church lately because of the whole pandemic thing. It's a small Grace Gospel church in Dalton City, and they're small. It's a small church, and a lot of elderly people. And she works in Dollar General, so the interaction we just don't want to spread.
Sure.
We haven't had vaccination, but we haven't had any influence.
Yeah.
That's this whole thing. So.
Yeah.
Did you put it on mute for me and everything?
No, I didn't. Sorry.
I would do that because I'm sorry, but I'm not going to be interrupted by this. It's something I've waited about all my life for. I couldn't get my father or nothing to do anything like this when we were here. I've made a lot of trips out to Fort Sumter and things because, like I said, I'm a history major, a history buff, and I've done a lot of genealogy. And my forefathers was Benjamin Harrison, signed the Declaration of Independence, the chairman there, and secretary. So, and William Henry Harrison was a forefather of mine, and Benjamin Harrison as well. So we descended from the James River Harrisons, and I don't know, I feel like a drawing.
Sure, there's a connection.
To Charleston, and to know that those 4 men are buried out there that were a part of the delegation of the Constitution. I don't know, but just maybe there's something strange, something spiritual going on. So So maybe I hopefully can get some answers or something, or just some relevancy to this.
But there's sometimes, it doesn't matter what story I tell, if somebody wants to come through that y'all brought with you, or somebody that needs to speak to one of y'all, like, it happens. I mean, I've had vets on this tour. It didn't matter what story I told. Everything was about a lost buddy overseas. So, we'll see what happens.
Yep. You got it on? Got it volume where you need to be?
Well, my volume's not going to listen to him.
So, this is also going to be your device, Ken, just so you know. This is going to give us a word from time to time and save it to a list. So, last tour I did the other night, it gave us 73 terms. I'm going to clear them out because they already have theirs. So right now, the word bleak will not be on your list. 80% of what comes out of this thing, again, bullshit. Doesn't mean anything. This thing's meant to be a game or a hoax, however you want to look at it. But I'm sure you're familiar with the term ovulus.
Yep, absolutely.
All right, so...
You can probably feel that word coming down my mouth. Yep.
Ovulus has 2,048 terms in it. This one, 9,112. So you can see where I could take the 80% and throw it away.
Yeah.
Same thing. If anything's relevant, I'll highlight it, tell you why, give you a link. So again, I'm looking for specific things in here as far as like very, not like, hey, I want to make sure it has my name pop up. It's more like, I want to make sure that the tie is so specific, it can't be considered coincidence, is really what I'm after. So again, you won't need to show me every single word. I'll say, Ken, where are we at with that list? You hit this little scroll right here, you'll be able to like move the words around once we have any, and then you just circle back. So yeah, you're double fisted.
All right.
You get to carry the bag.
Double D.
Dad's got his toys.
You're gonna be my multitasker.
Oh, Lordy.
Again, I'm trying to break out as much as possible.
That's fine. I'm game.
Dad, watch
Fine. I booked this trip. I
You guys
filled
have-
out everything.
Well, you guys have seen these on TV, right?
Yes, that's what I want.
Well, you're gonna have something that actually works.
Oh my goodness.
So those are great. They're great for debunking things because they're so sensitive. The numbers at the top, okay? So we're gonna measure things tonight in milligauss. This is EMF, the same thing that measures from the K2 meter. Anything above 2.5, we're still gonna try to debunk what it is. Why? Because 2.5 is the second dot on a K2 meter.
Right.
I know I'm speaking your language, so I can actually do this demo.
Yes, sir.
So that second dot right there, that's 2.5. So this one only goes to 25. That's it. Once you red cap, it's like, oh my gosh, something's here. Yeah, this one I've seen cap out and error out at 198. So again, we're talking about over microwave amount of EMF coming out of this thing. So on the tour, I've seen it go all the way up to 149. Just so you know, the 198 was at an outside location.
Okay.
The bottom number is ambient temperature. Oh, this is multifunctional here. She's like, oh, give it to me. So in the event Kelsey finds something on her camera, you and I can debunk it pretty quickly with the bottom number. That's going to measure with this yellow probe at the top. Last thing that it has is it has a REM pod built into it. So are we familiar with the term REM pod? So it's going to detect motion. Anything gets close to that antenna, it will go off. So again, we're going to focus on the red numbers for right now. We're going to leave the antenna in, leave the flap open. I'll show you more about it at our first stop. So that way you can kind of get a gist of how this thing works. So again, you have a lot going on with yours. Because it doesn't record anything, I may write down some of the numbers that we come up with in these different spots. So it comes up in your analysis tomorrow morning.
Oh, anything above 2.5.
2.5.
Okay. Gotcha.
All right.
So every time I see something, I gotta say something.
Yeah.
Make sure I have my little notepad and pen in my...
How am I gonna walk and look at this other thing?
Walk and look at the same time. You can do it.
What's she worried about?
She said, I'm gonna walk and do this at the same time. I'm like,
Just
you're gonna
hold it
walk
like
and
a
do
cell
it.
You don't necessarily have to watch the whole damn thing.
Yeah. If you see something move,
You're going to have a full video tomorrow.
see
You
the
can pop
cold
it up on
spot.
TV.
True.
Yeah, she just wants to be able to tell you if we do see something. If you see that cold spot pop up,
Make
you
sure to
know,
walk and not
Cold
be filming
spot,
the ground.
and a warm-
filming
warm
the back of our
spot,
head.
isn't it?
I mean,
I'll catch her.
it's a cold spot you're looking at.
So, okay.
Yeah,
We're gonna
he's
talk
warm.
More. We're gonna talk more about.
That's
the
why
other
he's
device.
showing orange. He's warm.
Again, you don't have all the answers
the
right
blue
now.
and stuff, like a blue spot that's moving, like
You
something's
see the blue
moving
dot?
over here.
It's just
Yes.
finding the coldest little spot in your frame right now.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
wherever that lands, it's going to give you the temperature with it too. The center dot that you have is just measuring wherever that dot lands. It just stays in the center of the screen. I left that there on purpose, so in case you want to measure something because the sky's in view or whatever, that way you can just move the camera to get that dot to land wherever you need it to go. I could put heat on there, but for a ghost hunt, that's stupid. We don't need it.
Right.
So I just leave the cold in the center.
I said heat earlier, but you're looking for the
Most
heat
people
because
do
you're
say
not
heat.
looking for the cold.
Right.
But you're looking for the cold, not the
Oh, for example, like these should be somewhat orange or yellow.
Yep.
Yeah.
These are hot hands. I keep them in my pockets. It does get a little chilly for us northerners where our blood is thinned. I'm originally from Ohio, in case you couldn't tell. I don't have that southern drawl.
Oh, that's good.
So, but yeah.
Tip of canoe and Tyler too.
So let's talk about why we started here. Big John's. I actually used to go right next to Big John's, but they just grand opened a few months ago, and I don't want to interrupt their business. So, but this place used to be named after a football player, Big John Kennedy. He played for the 1947 New York Giants. This was his bar. He sat in the back. He used to tell the bartender at the cadets coming over from the Citadel, which is probably about a mile and a half that way, they would come down here as a watering hole. But he would tell the bartender if they weren't old enough. One night, 2 guys come in, they're not old enough. So he has the bartender throw them out, and they leave pretty mad. They come back the next night, and they decide they're going to steal the cash register from the front of the bar. Not a very smart move, considering Big John sitting at the back of the bar. So he gets up, he starts pounding the hell out of these guys, just beating them right into the floor. A couple of shots go off. John gets hit in the neck, and the bullet lands in the wall. John gets up after being shot, goes back to the bartender, and tells the bartender to get him another beer, get the 2 guys on the floor an ambulance. So, irony of the story is that nobody died in this story. The bullet hole is allegedly still here, and I can't verify that it's still here because they just reopened it. I don't know if they filled it in. However, that still puts Big John's blood in the building. It was his building to begin with. So, people that sit in the front tend to get a little queasy, nauseous, or headache. That's from paranormal activity. The only EMFs I've ever gotten out of that building were in the front of the bar from time to time. That's usually a good sign that it's legit. You have the word false. That's interesting. I bring this up as a heated warning. Fingers crossed we're going to be dealing with some paranormal activity tonight. Anybody feels any of those symptoms, I need to know immediately, so that way we can get everybody over to safety. I won't say that people haven't passed out from the store because they have. So I will tell you, just a few weeks ago, remind me at our last stop to tell you the story of what happened just a few weeks ago. It's relevant to the story, which is even probably one of the creepier things that's happened on my tours. I will tell you the psychics and mediums normally don't make it through the whole tour. They will drop like a wet noodle, and I've had to call 911 a handful of times. Can't explain to them that it's probably from the paranormal activity, but it is what it is. So, let's talk about something other than our own health, because your guys' child is here, and I see the look of concern already.
No, that's funny. I just said their own health, and I'm sitting here thinking to myself when you're talking about anything that take. I have epilepsy.
So do I.
I have a temporal lobe epilepsy.
Okay.
When I was 16 years old, I had a car accident. I had 2 brain surgeries, facial surgery. I died twice, and I had a hemorrhage on the right rear of my brain. And when I came out of my coma, I saw an elderly woman waving at me from the corner of my eye.
Who was it?
I described her to my mother, and my mother said it was my great aunt Gladys.
Good.
It sounded like her. It sounded like the description. And I said, well, I don't remember her. When was the last time I seen her? She said when you were 6 months old, and she passed away about a month before the car accident. Well, but every time I turn and look, she'd disappear. But she'd just be smiling and waving, and then she'd disappear. And I didn't know that if anything in my health would be interfered.
When I told you earlier that things will go home with me and I'm not doing well when I get back to the car, it's because of my epilepsy. So again, I may have a master's degree, and I might sometimes be the most intelligent person out of a group, but that doesn't mean that I'm not weak-minded muscle mass. So again, my epilepsy, I mean, I could drive, I've always held a job, yada, 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 like nothing to that nature where it's been grand mal. I am on medications heavily every single day, but again, I still have to be careful. That was the concern, was I was basically seizing after a tour, getting back to the car where my hands are so clenched and my eyes are moving around so fast, I can't even text my wife. So she gets a jarbled text, that's usually the clue. She's got to make a phone call or she's got to come down here and get my ass. So it's only happened on a handful of occasions, but it has happened. So
I hate to hear that, but I'm glad it seems that we share that in common. Now, I can drive as well, too. But, thank you.
You're welcome. So, I am going to be looking for the name Gladys tonight, just so you know. I don't want to know anything else about this woman, other than the fact that she was your aunt. So, again, we'll see if anything pops up out of that. We're going to start with things like the word aunt and Gladys. So we'll kind of see if anything pops up either way on either spirit box. So again, if you hear something, we'll kind of keep that in mind. I'm only doing that because you said you were 16 at the time. I don't know how old you are now, but you have an 18-year-old now, so I'm guessing you're probably close to my age.
Well, I'm 38 and she's a stepdaughter.
Okay.
So what we believe. And my 2 sons, they were born actually the original due date was September 8th, 2011. And my car accident was September 8th, 1999. It was
He died twice on
Died
operating table.
twice.
We got twins.
And then they become twins. So I know dark haired and blonde haired, and then later they're fraternal. And actually, one of them is 4 days conceptually older than the other. They were delivered 3 minutes apart from each other. And then later on, I found out through my father that we were actually related to the Hoods, and the Hoods are related to Vernon Presley. Vernon's, or Elvis Presley's daddy.
Okay.
So there's a lot of weird situations.
You got a lot of
strange
weird shit going on.
I do. I really do.
I'll just put it out there.
From the Harrisons to the Humphreys and everything, it's
And I also pay attention to the name of Barbara. Because this is her grandmother that passed away.
Okay.
And
How long ago was that?
Like 2 years.
She's the reason we're kind of on this trip.
Okay.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's,
Back to history of Charleston. We had a big earthquake here in 1886. I'm sure you guys know that because you've been on a carriage tour. Every tour in town talks about the earthquake. I'm going to tell you some weird facts about the earthquake. This is allegedly where the first death occurred from the earthquake at Big John's. So the mantle you see in the middle of the building also goes around to the front on the East Bay side. A piece of that broke off from the earthquake, hit somebody in the back of the head, and killed him, and they say you could see his ghost in the middle of East Bay Street. And that came from the previous owner of Big John's. It used to be called Kane Rum Bar. Now, I say apparently and allegedly a lot with that because I don't have any physical proof of that. It's usually just a great segue so the moms aren't worried about their kids getting sick on the tour. So, I say we go ghost hunting so I can teach you more about your devices. And I say, let's go over this way.
Let's
actually
go.
just cross right here. Let's take advantage.
Stop. Be that way.
Okay.
You got these on your side and all with you.
I'm not gonna be scared. I might not say anything because I'm not looking at the phone, but. And he did say that half of the thing probably weren't because of this.
So that's right on the Pennsylvania border. Like the little suburb that I lived in, I could spit on Pennsylvania. Like that's how close I was. So this is your level 1. So we're not going to spend a lot of time here because we're obviously a smaller group, and this is usually where I have my 10 folks. I'm sure you've seen other tours where there's like 20 people on them. I don't do that. I only go to 10. But normally I literally bounce around with every person and show them more tactics with their device. So this is going to be nice and simple so I can teach you more about your devices. Square boxes, well first off let me tell you where you're at. This is the Big Red Barn. This is where we keep horses for carriage rides. So the barn does have horses in them. None of us are using lasers tonight, so I don't have to give that for a warning. That's nice. So this is the same red barn that delivered milk and eggs to the residents of Charleston. That's the only history I got. I keep it nice and simple here because we talk about spirit boxes first. First off, this is not TV. This is not, is somebody here? Right? Because that's what everybody wants to do. If somebody answers no, it means somebody's here. So we just stay away from all that shit all over. We want detail, we want the proof, just like I told you, I'm looking for those specific details. So here, as we're kind of moving along, we can ask questions that you already know the answer to. What do you got?
transported milk and transported the goods in Charleston. That's awesome.
We'll tell you that.
And they're also transporting carriages now, transporting the tours. So,
If it's somebody from the barn, they would more than likely use the word deliver or delivery.
right.
A lot of times these were stable boys, or they were not of using terms like transport.
Right. The English then was different.
Right. Exactly. So am I excited about it?
No.
It's vaguely relevant.
Right.
It's loose. You know, we'll call it that. But I'm not like, oh my god. If it said delivery or it said milk or eggs, I'd be like, oh yeah. But you're on the right track, is because I make the point that we're going to be we're going to be listening and looking for those specific terms. Over there, the keywords were 47, New York, Giants, John, anything related to a bar. Over here, delivery, milk, eggs, anything relatable to a horse stable.
That's the coolest spot
So,
right now.
again, what I normally have you guys look for specifically is what color is the big red barn, because you already know what the answer is. But I like to bring up the fact that you're using a spirit box that's using, DJ voices and song lyrics to convey messages. What color is the big red barn? The word red might not be there right away, but the word blood, heart, fire truck, those three things are specifically red. So that's why I usually say that's usually an acceptable answer, because that's what they're able to grab and give to us. This is about putting clues together. We're still close to Big John's, so we are going to be still close to Big John's even with our next stop. sometimes, I won't say sometimes, most of the time I'll require 2 pieces of information to be able to verify what's happening. If you see art and hear 40, Art Faircloth is number 40 on Big John's teeth. That verifies what's actually happening around us. You kind of see where I have to put the clues together. Yeah. And again, it could come from 2 different spirit boxes, it could come from the same one. I never know.
Yes,
so again, I normally use up to 4 different types of spirit boxes on this tour when I have an array of 10 people. So you actually have 2 of them. I have an SB7, and then I use another S box that doesn't record. So that way, the whole group only gets back 1 recorded. And I usually give that to the person that I hate to assume anything, but if it's somebody elderly, they have a hard time hearing things, but they want to use one, I give them that one and make sure it's recording so that way we can hear their findings, because they're probably going to have a hard time throughout the tour listening to it. It's not an easy thing to do, but you already know. Do you have the gist of why we want to try to keep somebody in there? So when somebody warm is in there, it's going to give an array of color to prove a point. Come over this way with me for a sec and point your camera at this wall. Leave the tree out of it if you can. You see how it kind of went red?
Yeah.
I'm going to put my hand into view. Watch your screen and watch what happens to the wall. Did it turn blue?
Yes.
Okay. So there's science for you. My hand left, so it should have went back to red, because that red, orange, and yellow, it's always going to kind of balance out. Red's kind of like in the middle, believe it or not. It's the yellow and the white that's going to be really, really warm. So that's why my skin tone, or anybody else's skin tone, is going to be a little bit almost on the bright bleachy side. The red and the orange is kind of in the middle. When things start turning blue, that lighter blue is obviously kind of right next to red, and then it's going to go down into the darkers and then black. So it's the black and the blue spots that move on their own, not just kind of fluctuate, but I'm looking for shapes. I want to see something move and kind of really get the gist of it. If something black just comes across and it's across my nice warm face, we have something going on there.
Right.
So that's why you want to try to keep somebody in view, just somebody's skin. Obviously it's going to be in our face and our shoulders, our neck. My hands aren't always going to be in view because I have hot hands in my pockets and I'm going to keep going back to them. But that's the whole gist of why you're recording tonight. Okay. Also keep in mind that people don't like their cars being filmed. So if somebody's going to their car, you don't want to focus on somebody's car that they're going to. You just want to go the opposite way. They don't know what we're doing, so they're going to look at us as car thieves. So you just want to go the other way.
Right.
Any readings from your device at all yet? One thing you do have to look out for in case you accidentally hit one of these facial buttons, look for the word hold up here. If you have the word hold on there, we just have to reset it because it's going to lock things in and we might miss some readings. Okay. So just kind of keep that in mind. Okay. But right now what I want to do, hold it still, we're going to turn off the temperature because what's going to happen now is that's going to put all the battery juice into the EMF. It's going to move a lot quicker now. So I'm not necessarily looking for 17.6, things like that. If you see 17, that's obviously a whole number, I'll take it. But let's talk about the REM pod portion. Go ahead and pull up the metal antenna there. And again, you're not bothering me with the smoke. Do whatever you got to do.
Let me ask you a quick question while we're doing this.
Sure.
Why is he blue? Look. Is it the coat?
It's his coat because it's not his skin tone.
Okay.
So notice how his hands are white and yellow?
Yeah.
Because that's the variation of heat, like basically temperature between his skin and the coat. The coat is obviously picking up the breeze, probably warmer on the inside of his coat because his body temperature is closer to it. And less layers in between.
Yeah.
Where I left the flap open on the back, there's 2 little white buttons.
On the back?
What is it?
Okay.
The one closer to the edge is the one you want to click into place.
Oh man.
Click it till it's flush with the device. So you want to push it in.
Oh, push it in.
Beep, and it'll be very bright. So go ahead and, is it all the way on? Yep, perfect. So go ahead and flip it around. This thing will go off with your movements, just so you know. That's why we don't use it all the time. So if we're walking, our steps are going to make it go off. So there's a reset button on the right-hand side. There's 4 buttons. It's the very bottom button that you want. See, that's from you. You want to always be resetting it. There's an EMF field being generated around the antenna. I have it set up pretty tight to the, we could set it up pretty wide if you'd like, but when we're walking, I don't want bugs to give us false positives.
That big one there or this little one?
They're all the same size.
Okay, that little.
It's the very bottom one. So yeah, that'll keep resetting it for you. You want to always kind of have your finger ready because if you're moving, you don't want any false positives.
It's crazy how your cigarette looked on here. Looked like actual fire.
I told you, that video is actually really cool to watch, just to learn about, the way heat signatures work. So we're going to kind of peruse through here. Do you have any other words that I need to know about that showed up on your screen?
I seen Explorer, and I see, no, not really. I see throat. I'm gonna pop this little button over here, like you said.
Big John got shot in the neck, buddy.
Oh, I did.
Yeah.
And now we're plumb over on this other side. We didn't say it over there.
And whenever he said fall over there, I was thinking of when he got shot.
Yeah, and it was right after you said
they were
put
on
him
the
on the
ground.
floor.
Yeah.
When you said put him on the floor, and I heard, and
That's
I seen
why I
falls.
said falls.
Yeah. And it said all of them.
Oh.
Agreed, chased, all of them. Anna, exploration, illness, Ava, finding, criteria, transport, interior, liberty, falls, form, and poem.
So it said all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Again,
Wow.
80% of it's nothing though. So again,
Right.
the only thing that's really standing out to me is throat and falls.
Right.
Yeah.
So again, that's
What would-
kind of how your list is going to be. Like you could see, we've already got a good 12 to 14 terms out of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So again, we've only got 2 so far.
Okay.
All right, I say we head over to the next spot. Keep an eye on your screen and keep listening in if you don't have it turned up already. This way you can kind of see how your numbers are going to move along.
Okay.
Oops. Dang it. No, it's probably not going to until we get to somewhere. So where are we at? Where's the carriage thing? Right. Yeah. We're literally going on the route that he did. Same thing, just more investigated. I'm not even gonna stress. I'm okay. I'm with my family. He's safe, so. Yep. I just still don't know what I'm supposed to be looking for, honestly.
And the silver one's got the different files on it and things. And yeah, I'm just putting together a little bag and saving up some money.
Okay.
Trying to buy some more things like these here.
So at the top of your data page tomorrow, everybody asks me about my gizmos and gadgets. I put everything at the top. I call it the Stores in the Cemetery shop. So that way you at least have a go-to place for when you do want to get something. You know, and all of my recommendations are there. I mean, obviously everything I use on the tours is there. The apps that I trust are listed. So it's kind of like just a resource of where to go to get this kind of stuff and how to look at it.
That's cool.
So, welcome to your level 2. We're not going to be asking questions like what color is George Washington's white horse, like what we did with the red barn. What do you got?
To 6.0.
Okay, keep that number in the back of your head. That's good. I'll write it down here once I give you the history of the location. So, this was the lot I told you guys to park in, by the way.
Oh, I'm sorry. It was up a little high. We didn't see it, even though we was in a big old yacht.
Yeah, that's a big vehicle you guys have. I thought my car was big.
Well, like I said, we have 6 people who came down here.
Like a boat, man.
That's what we had to have. This trying to put us in a minivan. I'm like, man, that's not gonna cut it. We're just gonna spend as much money on gas, if not more, in a minivan, and then not have no room for souvenirs, nothing else like that. Smelling each other's breath for 8 hours, it's not gonna be cool.
You guys are, yeah, that's right, Tennessee, right?
Yeah, it's not quite that far, but I mean, you know, with stops here and there and things like that.
No, I know the drive to Pennsylvania and Ohio because my wife is from the Pittsburgh area. This is the Pinckney Mansion site. So the mansion actually sat in the front of this lot. Eliza's garden was right behind where that church restaurant is. Came all the way across over here, and then the servant and slave quarters were in the back of the lot. So who the heck were Charles and Eliza? They had a son named Charles. They had a nephew named Charles. That's 3 different Charleses. So that's why another reason why I need those verification clues to figure out who the hell we're talking to. So the son and the nephew were signers of the Constitution for South Carolina. That's a big deal for us, and most people don't want to talk about politics, but you already brought up the Declaration. So again, very interesting that the son was actually raised here, but that's not who we're here to hopefully get in contact with, because most people don't want to talk about politics, and I'm sure Kelsey doesn't want to talk about politics at all.
Actually, I listen quite a bit.
So, I don't want to talk about politics. Let's go with that, because I hate politics. You got higher numbers?
7.2.
7.2. Perfect.
Somebody don't want to talk politics, but it might be testing.
And
Might like the
I won't-
politics, so it's kind of.
I won't say that they haven't come through. It's just usually not why we're here. So, Eliza married Charles at a young age according to our standards today. I'm not going to tell you what that age is, but I will tell you that Charles was over double her age when they got married. So Eliza married him because her father over in England thought he was dying, wanted to see all of his kids one last time. She didn't think he was dying. So instead, she got married. This is 1744, 1745. So there's no such thing as citizenship or green cards. She married this guy out of love. Now, once they get married, Dad gets better. So she was right. So there was no death on father. He starts sending her like apologetic gifts from England. One of those gifts happened to be the plant indigo. You guys have been walking around and driving around town. You've probably seen the word indigo a few times. It started right where you're standing. Indigo is a plant that makes blue dye that makes our blue jeans blue. You're actually wearing it right now because that's what we use it for. She had to learn from her slaves how to keep it cultivated in our obviously weird temperatures. It's not always warm down here. Once she had it all figured out, she moved it up to Mount Pleasant, just north of here, to another family plantation, and calls Dad and says, I need somewhere to sell this stuff because the rice plantations are going downhill and we can make a killing. So now we have a businesswoman in the middle of colonial times, which is something absolutely unheard of. Now, those are just the basic things that she's done for the country. Let's talk about the weird facts of Eliza. Eliza was the second wife named Eliza from Charles. So now we have 3 Charleses and 2 Elizas. Both Elizas have a maiden name that starts with the letter L, which is what they both go by. They were friends before the second Eliza married Charles. So they knew each other. So they both went by their maiden name. The mansion's not here anymore. Does that say park?
That's exactly what's here right now.
That's where I told you guys to park.
Yep. Every bit of that, just it all comes around full circle.
The mansion's not here. You can ask what happened to it, then you can ask when did that happen. So obviously it was a tragedy. The kids, tread lightly. I told you there was at least one. There are more. You can ask how many and what their names were, but after that, leave it alone. If she wants to talk about the tragedy that happened among one of those children, she'll let us know. So again, we poke the bear, all activity, including EMFs, will stop. I've seen it dozens of times.
Sure.
Eliza's death.
It's stopped, I think.
Don't worry about the timer. I'm more worried about the square.
Okay.
You probably moved it slightly, and yeah, it's not a big deal. We're good.
The square disappears, it stops recording.
Right. It goes to a circle when it stops recording. Eliza's death, she's pretty open about. When did you die? What did you die from? Where are you buried? And what U.S. president was a pallbearer at your funeral? So those are major questions that I usually get answers to. I would say pretty regularly. I would say at least once or twice a month on each of those questions, some of them even more. So again, you can be pretty open with her death, like she's pretty cool about it. I think that kind of covers the bases. I'm trying to think if I missed anything. No, I think I got you enough questions to be able to ask to at least get us going. If I see that the activity is light, obviously we won't spend a ton of time here, but we're going to spend about 10 minutes or so here. Just because we actually spend a lot of time chatting over there, so I'm not going to rush anything, but at the same time, I want to make sure I can hit as many spots as I can with you guys, since you want to actually learn. You know what I mean? I don't care about.
We was chatting like that.
No, I don't care.
12.3.
Are you kidding me? I love meeting people like you that actually.
12.3. 7.4 is another one.
Miss Eliza, what was the manner of your passing?
Hit that top button on the right-hand spine.
Here.
Yep. Yep.
Is there anything you'd like to say to me? Would you like to talk into these devices? Or just around me? Will these devices pick you up?
That's a temperature drop alarm, so if it drops by more than 5 degrees, it automatically goes off. I don't like 5 degree differences. I like 15 to 30 degree differences. 5 degrees, I'm not going to get excited about. That could be a breeze, right?
22.
So 12.3 has been our highest so far.
You can walk around.
We can. We're going to basically follow you. You know where the hot spots are.
Over here is where the
This is usually one of my best spots, just so you guys know. I get a shit ton of activity out of this location.
Is there anything you'd like to say?
That's still a yes or no question.
Okay.
Eliza, why don't you tell us how you died?
Okay, that's more proper way of me asking it.
Yep.
Eliza, why don't you tell us how you died?
doing nice slow pans. Nice and slow. Anything crazy out of your end?
It starts right here, like in this pointing in that area. But then when I move up a couple steps, it's nothing.
Keep in mind also the motion detector and
Who's
the
your
EMF meter
husband?
are independent.
Okay.
So you could have a reading here and not there and vice versa.
Okay.
Oh, I just got really cold.
Say it's getting colder?
Mm-hmm.
What's getting colder?
It just, the whole screen turned blue.
And there's a slight breeze right now, but it's kind of hard to tell if it's, I mean, it's already chilly out here to begin with.
Right. So this way.
Yeah.
This way.
Yeah. But unfortunately, I can't prove anything back there unless you get a direct reading. That's the only thing we'll see in real time. You have on there in church. Why don't you give us the name of your children? Any of them will work.
Someone is supposed to stay at 9:14. What? It's supposed to stay at 9:14? It's recorded. I don't think so.
Why don't you give us the names of your children?
Is it recording?
Kelsey, it's recording. Chill.
Where? I don't think so.
Anything back here?
It just started going up to 1.3. Let me ask you, like, what house is it here?
You can. When it comes to it, we're trying to get answers from the servants and slaves themselves. There's just no proof, just because there's no record of them. That's the whole point. You can't prove any of it.
Eliza, what house is set right here where we're standing?
Or something. So it's spirit something. It's really hard for me to hear you and then hear this too.
Mm-hmm.
And I was trying to listen while you was talking to me, but I wasn't trying to be too loud. But I'd love to ask more questions.
Eliza, I want to go back to how she died. I just don't know why I want to keep asking that question tonight. Eliza, can you tell us how you died? Or how we think you died?
I hear a little bit of a change here.
I use both earbuds in the morning when I'm going through it.
Right.
I mean, and I have it cranked just because I'm used to it. I
Right.
listen to it every morning. So again, the wife's like, "You're getting earbuds. I can't take your office echoing through the whole house with white noise anymore." She works for Best Buy, so of course, what does she do? She comes home with the new Beats.
Right.
Like, here you go. I'm not going to
Can I
complain.
ask them to touch this?
You can. What I normally
for
do with
such
that,
a-
with a call and answer, like what you're trying to do, is try to get a specific color out of it, because that means I try not to go to red or green. The blue and the purples are in the center, so that way they have to get so close and
What
stop.
was here, Eliza?
You see why I kind of go for that? It's a little bit more.
This spot.
Eliza, why don't you tell us where we are?
Yes, Eliza, tell us where we're at.
Eliza, there's an antenna on this device that I'm holding. Can you touch that antenna for me?
Her, you gotta remember, 1750s. It's a metal stick.
There's a metal stick on the device I'm holding right here. Can you touch that stick?
Eliza, you know how this box works. Can you make it go to blue or purple? Maybe show us what the color of indigo was? A little something going on there.
Come on, Eliza, touch it for us.
Being respectful.
We just want to know you're here.
did you grow?
See it. See why they call it ghost hunting? You can't stay in one spot. You're getting some 3s and 4s.
Yeah.
Which is good.
Well, I'll do one more time. Can you tell me whose house is set right here?
What did your crop produce?
Well, you're gonna get money.
Well, either money or blue dye or indigo or something.
Yeah.
Just,
The word blue will show up here a lot.
right. That was what I was kind of hoping for. And I was kind of leading towards some of my own. Like, I didn't want to kind of coach. I didn't know. But well, like you said, though, with red, it wouldn't matter if you said it or not. It would say something that was in reference to that. Blue sky or
Yeah, right.
something.
But even still,
Everybody's disagreeing with me now.
holiday time, what color is the big red barn? We'll get the full phrase, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Yeah.
I don't need Rudolph the Nosed Reindeer, I just need red. So it's going to pick up words before and after.
Trying to
That's why
get
I have it
used.
slowed down.
If I know it touches it, you know what I'm saying?
Cool thing about this one too, that actually has a flashlight built in. Right, this one. Vertical spots. Actually has a flashlight built in. And the speaker on there is actually really good. I just, when I'm talking and I have multiple people here, and earbuds seem to be working. I just started doing that a few weeks ago. It's cool.
Oh, I like it.
Mom's figure is gonna be cold, right? Like around her,
Yeah.
because
Yeah,
whoa.
she should have black lines around her.
the screen just went all blue again.
Eliza, what caused your death? Would you like to tell me what caused your death? Please. This is my
slow. It's a much easier video to watch.
I'm looking for some disembodied.
Disembodied voices in real time are pretty much impossible to catch.
What's that?
So disembodied voices are pretty much impossible to catch in real time.
Alright, I was just, man, I'm just, listen.
Let's catch up with Mom. I'll get you guys some answers because we're not getting a whole lot out of this. You're not telling me everything, so get you guys some answers.
Here's too much on top of two.
Not a good thing to do. Any ratings over here?
Garden. Still on it.
Well, obviously his spirit boxes are still running. I'm going to get you guys the answers to
I just heard a ball.
the proposed questions that I gave you, and then we're going to move on to the next stop. Kelsey, you can kill your video at this point because we don't want to lose any footage that we already had, so just hit the red square.
Talking to me?
This is what he said, Builder's Alley. We call it Philadelphia Alley now because we named it after a city that helped us out of one of our many fires. So, and that's also when dueling became illegal. So, not that it was legal for a very long period of time, but we all tell the story of one duel. His name was Joseph Brown Ladd. He was a doctor from Rhode Island. He moves down here because his fiance's attorney, who's handling all of her inheritance money, tells her to get rid of the doctor. So he moves down here to Charleston to prove he's not just after her cash, and the coachman that brought him into town set him up to be robbed and killed. So it wasn't a very good start to his stay in Charleston. So once he gets down here, somebody sees what's about to happen. Sorry, I got focused to make sure the battery was on and like connect it all, because this guy will turn off and not charge the camera from time to time. So it's kind of like those cords are pretty heavy duty, so I worry about that. But anyway, when somebody sees what's about to happen with the doctor getting killed, his name is Ralph Isaacs. He has the same initials as where the doctor came from, R.I. We already have S.H., which I'm going to explain next. But at the same token, R.I., we don't know who it belongs to, the doctor or the attorney, Ralph, unless we get another clue. So he says, let me take you to 59 Church Street. That's Church Street up there, which is where we're going to end up. And he says, let me take you to some friends of mine, you can rent a room, and the two become friends. They go see plays together, but they can't sit next to each other because the doctor's making a lot of money. Amanda's moving down soon, which is where he got the nickname the Whistling Doctor, because he whistled all the time. But he can't sit next to his friend because he makes more cash, he gets better seats. So one night after seeing a play, they're talking about William III on the way home. The doctor loves the new actress, Ralph does not. They start arguing, then Ralph starts insulting the doctor's fiancée back home. It gets pretty ugly, they go their separate ways. With Ralph being from here, he goes to his friends at the newspaper, puts an ad in the paper telling the whole city of Charleston what he thinks of the doctor. The doctor sees the ad, rebuttals, we're going to go to Dueler's Alley and settle this. So they come down, they take their 20 paces, they turn, the doctor points his gun in the air and he shoots. He did not want to kill his friend. But Ralph puts his one bullet in the kneecap of the doctor. So the doctor didn't die, he just wanted to pretty much prove his point, right? So his friends pick him up, they carry him home to 59 Church Street. He dies 10 days later. Probably from bleeding out. He also refused other medical services as well. So what happens from there is they say you can hear the doctor's whistles as you walk down the alley. So it is residential at the end, or else I would take you through there. You can see it's empty now. Even during the week, most of the tours kind of stay clear of this alley now. We got some new neighbors in town, and we're kind of keeping it that way, you know, keeping it empty. But it is the most beautiful place we have, I'll be honest with you. If you love taking pictures, this is the place to do it day or night. It has perfect lighting either way, and when you're walking down there, turn on your voice recorders. And keep in mind, we have locals that all know the story. Anybody walking down Cumberland or Queen Street on the other side, we're going to throw a whistle down the alley. I do it every single night on my way back to my garage. So it's just kind of a little, you know, ritual we all do. We just throw off the other tours. But again, if you hear anything, it's not going to be a standard. It's not going to be real loud. It's going to be real faint in the background. They also say you can hear gunshots. I don't have any gunshots that I've ever caught there, but I do have some whistles that I cannot debunk. A lot of terms will come up here. Obviously, there's a lot of key terms here. 59 being a big number. Joseph, doctor, medicine, RI, like I said before. All kinds of things will show up with this specific alley. So again, it's probably coming up on your spirit box that you're just not catching, because again, I pretty much catch something about the doctor every single morning. So something always pops up about the doctor. So from here, I'm going to come up and we're going to kind of go over this story with the SH. And it's a 50-50 shot when I do tell this story. Sometimes I need the extra.
You seen it too, didn't you?
Something came up.
I'm curious what this blue dot is.
Look, do you see that?
Is it moving?
I'm doing it now.
Well, you said something, so that means I definitely got to watch it. I don't want to move because my clothing and face might be part of the color scheme you have.
She's got your shoulder, and there's a couple of people walking down the alley.
Okay.
Started walking down the alley as you were talking about not
That
going
blue
down
spot
the alley.
will not. It just stays there.
Okay.
And then they whistled over
What's
the
those two little
hollered at
spots?
somebody that did.
Yep.
I don't know what those are.
Alright, so let's go ahead and cut it again. Go ahead and hit the red square. The building over there with the crosses on it is called the Gunpowder Magazine. So that held gunpowder for 7 different wars, with the Civil War being its last servant. We didn't talk about the Charlestown walls because we skipped Lodge Alley, but the Charlestown wall was literally on Cumberland Street. So again, Charleston used to be called Charlestown, the walled city. So we're inside the walled city. It went up past the Powder Magazine just about half a block and started going south towards the battery on purpose. This thing held gunpowder, so they were trying to keep it protected. It's 3 blocks away from the water. If it gets struck by cannon from the water, from pirates, it's going to have a hard time going through the walls. They're 32 inches thick. So let's say that it does and it blows up. There's sand in the roof from 1712 that will blow up with the gunpowder and fall to put out the fire. It's a great idea, it just doesn't work. We had another Powder Magazine closer to the battery. It did get attacked. Sand went up, fell, building burned to the ground. The crosses you see on there are not actual crosses either. Those are earthquake bolts. So we talked about that big earthquake scare we had in 1886. The gist behind that is that you can tighten them slowly after an earthquake and it'll straighten the building back up. That's another great idea, but doesn't work. So you're going to see earthquake bolts all over Charleston. It's just part of the Charleston charm. They're going to be decorated like lions and pineapples and all kinds of bullshit. So even our buildings today that we put together, so the apartment building behind it, I would say is probably late 1800s, mid to late, probably 1860s, 1890s. It has earthquake bolts in it. So again, even some of the newer buildings we put up, we still put them in there. I don't know why. The reason I tell you all of the history on this building is because it took 10 years to build this building. It's a government building. It's the oldest government building we have in South Carolina, if we're going to be quite frank about it. So 1703 to 1713 is its construction. The story begins in 1708. The fact that you have a female gendered word on your screen right now is not ironic.
I know it wasn't. As soon as I looked at it, I had that feeling it wasn't.
It's not ironic at all. Everything here is gender-based at this specific location. So, let's get into the story. 1708, young lady moves here from Ireland. Her name is Anne Cormack. She moves here with her dad and his mistress. The mistress is her mom. Are you guys with me so far?
Mm-hmm.
The three of them are running away from his wife. She obviously found out about the illegitimate child and the affair with the servant that he was having. So, she moves here with mom and dad. They buy a plantation in Georgetown. We don't need any more lawyers in Charlestown.
Were they skins? They were skins. They were related. And it's right there. And
That's kind of a stretch.
I know, but that's kind of what we in Tennessee, when you can, and your skins. You know, so it's
Okay.
your own skin. Because it's what on the outside.
Right.
It don't matter what color it is.
Got hello, too.
Well, hello.
I know, right? Let's see what else pops up.
Hello, Miss Bonnie.
Mom dies pretty quickly after they get here. So, Dad starts sending the daughter down here to Charlestown to sell anything from the plantation to keep things afloat. The building is a familiar. That's what we call this kind of spirit, when it's just something that they recognize. So, we're going to fast forward. 1713, the building's done. 1715, pirates are coming through town. Anne is stoked. Like, she loves pirates, and she wants her own freedoms. And she knows that that's what piracy is all about. She falls in love pretty quickly. This guy's name is James Bonney. Dad doesn't approve because he's a filthy pirate. They run away to Jamaica, they get married, Anne Cormack becomes Anne Bonny, your most famous female pirate of the Golden Age. So, once they're down there, she realizes this is not Captain Jack Sparrow. This is not the guy she wanted. He's not pretty badass. He's a coward in her eyes. He's a privateer, a spy for the British. So, she falls in love again a few years later. His name is John Rackham, a.k.a. Calico Jack. Calico Jack is called that because he wears the jackets of the men he kills. So he's a dapper, filthy young pirate, and he has his own crew, and she wants to be part of it. Girls curse pirate ships. Can't have a girl on a crew. So, he makes a deal with her. If you dress like the crew and hide your gender, then you could be part of the crew and be a female in my quarters. He's the captain. That's how it goes.
They'll allow you entry.
So, with that, being female in his quarters, she eventually gets pregnant. Can't have a pregnant pirate guy on the crew, so he drops her off in Cuba. They'll have the kid, come back, we'll figure it out later. So, she has the baby, she returns with no kid. We have no idea what happened to the baby. She's also dressed like a female. She doesn't care anymore about hiding her gender. This makes Jack pretty pissed off. He also just captured another pirate crew down below deck, and she's gonna go flirting, because that's what Anne does. This is guy number 3, in case you lost track. The guy she's flirting with turns out to be a female, just like a guy to be part of the pirate crew that Calico Jack just captured.
Oh my goodness.
So now we have 2 females on the same ship doing the exact same thing. Her name is Mary Read. She convinces Mary to become part of the crew, and the British find out where they are. They send their entire fleet of ships to come capture one little pirate ship. So, obviously, the ship's going to get taken because it's just Anne and Mary trying to fight the entire British fleet. It's not going to work out. The men of Calico Jack are too drunk to come up and fight. So, as they're all being arrested, Anne looks at Jack and she says she should have fought like a man instead of going down like a dog. So, dog will show up here quite a bit too, just so you know. The judge wants to see the 2 ladies, or 2 men, that fought back by themselves. He already hangs and tries Calico Jack and his men, so they're dead and gone. The 2 men go in front. They reveal their gender to be ladies. He doesn't care. They're still pirates in his eyes. Then they scream out, "We plead our bellies," meaning they're both claiming to be pregnant. You can't hang a pregnant woman in 1720. It's illegal. So he sends them both back to jail and delays the hanging. Dad is still here in Charleston with all of his Irish money. He bails her out, brings her back home. She remarries again, guy number 4, because yes, we're counting Mary. Has 4 kids and dies at the age of 84. That's all we know from her career of piracy. I'm telling you just the things that were common among many books that I've read on one woman. As far as Mary Read goes, she died in a Jamaican jail from whatever pirates die from in a Jamaican jail. It's probably scurvious and bumpy and gross and whatever else you want to come up with. I only left 2 questions that I know for certain to give you guys, and I left them out of the story on purpose. And that is the name of Calico Jack's ship. If you want to find out what that is, you can ask. And the name of Anne Bonny's parents. There's a lot of holes in this story. it's not the Pinckney Mansion site. The cool thing about this particular location is if you get anything above 2.5, it usually means we're going to have something show up on one of the other devices, or even the one that I'm holding on my bag. So, again, not the Pinckney Mansion where you're going to see all these crazy readings.
And that's just a toss.
Yep. I will tell you that just a few nights ago when they had the wedding reception across the street, every tour that was in here talking about the powder magazine or whatever was thrown out. So somebody comes up and says we can't be in here. We can be in here, but we're going to oblige and we're going to go our own way. But we're going to kind of hang out in this particular area. We're going to get close to the powder magazine so I can set the bag down. Do you guys want to see what Ann looked like? Would that kind of help things out a little bit?
Yeah. I believe I've seen a picture of her, but as far as memory, I like to.
Anne is usually depicted as bare-breasted because she normally took her shirt off to show whoever she killed that they were just killed by a woman.
Right.
So, well, that's Calico Jack.
It's even there.
So that's the one photo you can find of him. Anne, where's she at? That's Eliza, by the way.
Oh.
That was the mansion where we were standing that got hit by the fire. Sorry, I didn't show you guys all these photos. I always forget that I have this thing. And then that was Anne.
And I've never seen, that's not the picture I've seen of her, but that's kind of cool.
Normally, like I said, she's bare-breasted. After she killed somebody, she would bare her breast to show that they were just killed by a woman.
The one I've seen was the drawing or the sketch where she is bare-breasted.
Yep.
She's standing there with a saber and a pistol.
That was Big John, that we talked about at the very beginning. Eliza, a very prominent English woman. That was her mansion where we were standing and investigating.
Oh, wow.
That's Philadelphia Alley.
So what?
What it used to look like.
Wow.
Obviously, Sue Howard, Calico Jack. I think that's all I have.
What was the name of Calico Jack's ship?
I say we get close to the
Is this anything?
powder. Let's see what we've got going on.
What is it?
That's in between the trees.
Hopefully
So
my eye was tossed, so she might think I was looking at her.
I don't see it taking shape in any way. So it might just be something off in the distance that I can't measure.
Come back, I'm sure.
I'm trying to see.
Okay.
Again, those signs too are also going to be cold. Which doesn't even look like it's one of the signs. It just looks like it's something off in the distance.
Yeah.
It's weird. It almost looks like that window from the garage over there. Do you see what I'm talking about? Like past the tree?
Mm-hmm.
But it's over here on this side of that tree. 'Cause here's the two trees. Right?
Yeah.
It's right there at the house.
Leave your camera right there. I'm going to put...
No, it's over this way. Way over, past that tree. Right past that tree.
Past this one.
Yes.
It's like right beside. It's up in the corner.
It's not that. It's up high. If you reach your hand up,
Reach your hand up.
you're in the over that way a little bit.
You're in it,
You're in
You're-
the frame
you're
of
in
it
it.
right there.
and it blocks you out. Like his one is hitting it, but blocked him out.
Yeah. Maybe it's that sign over there.
But Mama, that's not the sign. That's the sign right there.
I mean, over there on that wall.
Yes, that's the sign right there. The warmness.
Oh yeah, it's above that sign.
Can we walk that way?
Yeah, can we walk
My
that
legs
way?
are killing me.
Yeah.
Okay. It's staying there, showing.
Well, let's keep walking, see if we can debunk it.
What was that other question?
The name of Anne's parents.
And her name was Anne, and what else?
Mary.
Mary. Can I turn
Okay.
the antenna on here?
Okay.
See, it's on the roof.
Yep, it is the roof. You know why? It's because those are clay shingles.
Mm.
So they're going to be way colder up there than the building itself.
Right.
That's why. You got it on.
I have the name of your parents. What is the name of your parents? What did?
Well, Anne and Mary, this is Kelsey Diana.
He's got the word
So
stone.
if you could
by the
show
way.
me stuff.
Hmm?
He's got the word stone.
Stone.
Oh,
Stone?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see the rest
For
of it.
what?
Because he said that the walls were clay. Like the roof
Yeah.
was clay. I
I'm
understand.
sorry, Mary.
And, well, we talked about Ralph went to the newspaper. It's not a bad list. Got a couple of things in there.
I seen that headline, but I can't remember if it was before or after you had said
It was
something
before.
about it. So okay, you saw it before you were started talking about it. Okay.
I just now saw it though. I didn't know
Oh,
it was
yeah.
on there.
Right. Okay. So that's cool. I didn't think you. I didn't know if you looked down and seen it or not. What? That almost sounded like the Hunley. And I know.
Hunley is here.
I know, and the soldiers are here too.
Yep, they're at Magnolia Cemetery.
I've got
just the memorials here.
Right. I've got Collins. I got his Medal of Honor. Frank Collins Medal of Honor when I went to see the submarine. Bought it in the souvenir shop. You inviting us?
What was that?
Come. We're coming. And what was the name of your parents?
I seen a little blue mark go by whenever Mama did that.
It's good.
Come on, Anna. Stuck it back out there. Anna or Mary, can you touch it again?
What color did I go to? Green?
It was the third one. Lit up blue.
Blue.
Come on, touch that stick again. Anna or Mary.
What was the name of Captain
Oh,
Jack's
Discovery
ship?
Code.
Thank you, Ann.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ann.
Thank you.
Reset it.
Thank you as well.
Nope. Let it go. Because you're not moving. That's
I'm
not
gonna
for
ask
me.
you to talk to me.
They want to do it if
Will
you're
you give me the
moving
name of your
around,
parents?
trying to debunk it.
Okay.
Wow.
Can you make it light up all the way? Come on.
Give us an orange or a red.
Give me a name. Your mom or your dad?
Okay, and if this is you, light it up all the way to red.
Okay.
You getting cold
And
spots again?
if this is you, touch that stick and make it light up all the way to red. Come on, Ann.
And to the left a little bit. Try to get Mom's face in there. Just so we have a point of reference. There you go.
Mary.
See how it was fluctuating before?
Mary, if
Will you
this
talk
is
to
you,
me? And
just make
tell
it
me
light all the way up to red. Come on.
what the name
You're strong. You can do
of
this.
your mother and father.
She knows she's strong.
You were a pirate. Come on. Make that light up to red.
Hmm.
Okay. You were a female pirate. Let's put it that way.
I know. She was badass.
You was badass.
Oh.
She likes that, huh?
Show me how badass you was. Light it up to red.
Come on.
Come on.
Hit it, Ann. Hit it. You ain't got to talk no more.
Or Mary.
I'll
Touch
shut up. When I start talking, stop.
No.
No. Pretty cool.
You gotta touch that metal stick, Ann. Make
Come
it go
on.
all the way to red.
Yes.
When I started talking, right there. I'm a man, ain't I? Ann.
All right, Mary or Ann, if you don't like this man standing here, light it all the way up to red. Touch that stick and make it light up if you don't like this man here.
Ann and Mary, you know I'm here pretty much every night. Given me plenty of answers in the past. Simple request to touch that metal stick. What do you got? I can't see that far. Transition.
What does it
Sorry.
say?
Temperature.
Temperature.
Yeah. 'Kay. 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 'Kay
didn't move, so I reset it.
Nope.
Look,
Because
it's
not
at
going off.
Mama's
It'll
hand.
reset
Okay.
itself.
If you don't like Ken, and touch that stick. If you don't like old Captain Ken here, touch that stick, Ann.
Dad.
No, you didn't wear the captain's hat.
No, but she knows I'll whoop Captain Kid's ass. So come on. You know, Blackbeard would have a fight with me too, wouldn't he? Light that up.
Blackbeard's name has popped up, his real name.
Right? Edward Teach or Edward Tetch or...
Well, we call him Teach here.
Right.
The English will call him Thatch.
Thatch, that's it. Thatch.
Is this at home?
No, this was just a familiar building.
Project.
Just a powder magazine.
Project or project? What are we working with? Come on, what's the name of Captain Jack's ship? Talk to me, please.
Like I said, it's usually a dead zone.
I'm being
You're
nice.
getting motion is
Evidently you like me fairly well because you didn't like the thing up. So, hook me up with some answers. What's the name of Jack's ship? I'm not talking about the Pearl.
No, I'm about to
Come on.
buzz. I'm about to buzz.
just in case these folks are from the church.
I gotta go. I'm sorry. Oh. Oh. You're getting closer and closer, Mama.
The closer I get to the house.
Yeah. And look, the blue dot's on you, so it's like it's with you.
Follow around here, Ann.
Huh?
Follow me around here, and you can touch it over here.
And tell Mama I gotta go to the bathroom. Yeah. I gotta go.
Oh, parking meter.
The electrical lines for that are underneath the sidewalk.
Do you want me to stop it or keep it going? I don't know if I should stop it, Mama.
This is the front of it. It's a museum now. You guys can
I
go.
gotta go.
Love it. 'Cause it shows all the different
Where
wars
are
that
we
served in, all the
I don't know,
artillery,
I'm
all the
asking if we can go
uniforms.
anywhere.
But again, it's an interesting space for sure. It's not very big. It's like a $5 ticket per head. You know, it's a quick 30 minutes to get out of the heat or cold. And I usually tell people to definitely check this out because it is the oldest government building we have. So it's not the oldest building we have, but it's definitely.
They were telling us to whisper. Or we want to get mad. That's the reason why you told us to.
You just never know.
Is there somewhere along this line so you can use the bathroom?
It's right across the street.
Okay.
And we're actually going to wrap up anyway.
Give me.
So I'll hang on to that while I get things wrapped up. But over in that garage, that restroom should still be open.
Right. Well, he's been writing stuff down.
Oh, that's to the doctor. The doctor actually wrote poetry.
Hold on. The doctor.
The doctor wrote poetry while he was here.
The poem was on there
Poem
too.
showed up at the Pinckney Mansion site.
I didn't know if it was a picnic or like right before that, but yeah, that was cool.
So the word poem or poetry will show up here a lot too. But he
Yeah.
wrote about his fiance while he was here, and it was all published after he died. His sister Elizabeth published it for him.
And I thought I heard Elizabeth or Liz or something like that. It might have even been Eliza, but on through the spirit box.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't say nothing to you at that point in time. When I turned around, you were talking to them, and I just wasn't really sure if I'd heard it or not. There's Leah, or Leah.
Leah.
L-E. Presence. Didn't see that one. Throw. Somebody got. A lot of people getting thrown to the ground right now. Stream, like. I didn't even see that one. Themselves. Mammy.
I saw that too.
Wow. And then didn't you say that it was who was it you said that was having the affair with her, I guess the mother or something like that you said?
Well, Anne, there was the whole bit where her dad had an affair with one of the servants of the home.
Servants, okay. Mammy. I remember that.
Was it open?
Yeah. Okay. That's what you want to call it.
What's that?
That's what you want to call it. No, it wasn't.
Oh.
But she's good.
You okay?
Yeah. She opened her own door. She's that way.
Oh.
She hid behind the trash can. Okay.
There's another restaurant.
She's about to bust.
But that's funny, mammy. And that's something that usually Tennesseans would, I think that the Tennesseans would say. And then
Mammy?
you say, and you say, and it hit that twig.
No,
Nope.
it did not.
It did?
That's why I felt it all
I'm,
around.
No.
I'm standing from this distance, so I don't know. You.
Come on, touch this meter again. Make the slide up. Touch that little stick or move close to it.
Sue, if you're here, touch that stick for us. Get closer. Make it go to blue.
Sue, say your name. I think I just heard Sue.
Sue, if that's you, can you touch it and make it light up to blue? Come on.
Come on, touch it. Touch it, touch it, touch it. Let us know you're still with us.
Okay, if it's not Sue, tell me, just touch it. Whoever you are, move close to it. I have the utmost respect and I just want you to show me that you're here.
If they start coming over here, we'll cross the street and go check out the other side. I don't like to hold this spot. I think we have something to do.
What's that beeping on the side for?
I don't know. If you hit that top button, that's the temperature change. Something's changing.
2.
We got it.
Which 2? Which 2? Is someone trying to tell us something? Give us a number? Adapt to. Adapt to. Adapt to what?
Come on, touch it. Make it light up to blue. I want to see it blue. Are you coming?
Looks like they're just splitting up.
Can you light it up to blue for me before I go? I'm gonna have to go.
What is that vibration for?
Looks like it's a temperature drop. Hit that top button. I'm sorry, the second one down. Second one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me reset.
Yeah, definitely reset this.
Come on, there. Oh,
There you go.
get it up there.
Nice job.
Come on,
Yeah,
thank you. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you.
Okay, step away from it.
Can you step away?
Now you done figured it out. You don't want to.
All right. Can you tell your name into that device over there?
Put your name in the box over here.
He's gonna hold the box. Tell me
Give
your
a
name.
That sounded like Sue.
Sue, is that you?
I'm hearing a lot of religious things through here. Through the evangelistic channel.
We got a lot of those.
That's Christians for 20.
Hey Sue, is that you
Roses.
again? Move this twig right here.
Roses.
I'm gonna get close, but move this twig
What
right
flowers were at your funeral?
Hang on, that's different.
Okay.
So,
I would,
we're back to the doctor again. 59 Church Street is actually called the Thomas Rose House.
wow.
So
Rose's house.
We're still on the doctor, apparently.
Huh.
What's funny is neither the doctor nor Ralph are buried here.
So the doctor stayed at this place.
The doctor, where the hell is he? I can't remember exactly.
here. No.
Are they all splitting up? Alright, let's go check out that sarcophagus. We got a direct answer out of that. That was pretty
That was
cool.
beautiful.
Did me stop it?
Yeah, you can stop it if you want.
Near it.
And the doctor's name was what again?
Joseph.
Joseph. Dr. Joseph.
Come on. Anybody in here? Come and touch this stick. Come close to this stick and make
Someone
it
give me
light up.
a name through here who would like to communicate with us? Mr. Kaufman?
I'm standing right at somebody's grave. I might want to move.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
I did. Sure, as soon as I stick it through there, I'm right at someone's grave.
The next one down, that's William Rhett.
Do what?
The next sarcophagus down.
I'm saying, I'm fairly interested in this well.
Hey, can somebody come over and touch this meter? Come up and touch this stick and make my meter light up.
Right, it would know that. It would.
Come on. Can you make it light up again?
Who's telling me rascal? If there's anybody telling me rascal,
Anybody that's here, come and touch the stick, please. Come on.
sounds like a doctor.
It sounds like her camp.
Oh. So who's in the camp?
Mm-mm.
Someone playing with the camera? Interesting.
Mama, I can't. I'm trying to hold this thing and move this thing. I can't. I got it. Never mind. I'm cutting this off.